Hi, Guido Fox here. Welkom bij een nieuw book report. And today I want to talk with you about this wonderful book, Autism and Spirituality. It's about autism mostly, and also about spirituality. And this writer wants to combine these two fields of knowledge, and he's saying actually, if you have autism or you have some symptoms of autism, you are also made for spiritual development, and you can reach higher awareness skills. So there is a link between autism and spirituality, and I want to talk with you later about this connection between autism and spirituality and what that is mean exactly. First, it was 264 pages of knowledge and sometimes very complex, difficult. So I try to make it simple for you and pick the core out of it. And I wrote myself earlier also an article about autism. That's block 151. Another time, 151. That's a blog on my website. You can go to www.guidofox.nl and then to my blogs, and you go to 151, or you go in the search function of my website, and then you can see also, you can type in 151, and then you can read an article about autism. Why I wrote that article? Because one of my clients, two clients in the past, had a kind of form of autism, and I wanted to know more about autism, because I want to support these two men to create a better life, right? So if you're a life coach, you have to be also a little bit interested in the kind of disorders or disabilities people have in life. And I make here a very wrong mistake. Autism is not a disorder, it's a disability. It's a kind of a little bit a handicap in life. But if you find the right people who can support you, if you find the right fitting job in life, there's also a trouble making issue for people with autism. So career coaching is very important. Then your life will be very okay and very happy, because you are here with a reason, and that is also what I read between the lines in this book. You are a special person. You have autism, but you're special, and you have a lot of things you can do better than the rest, better than the matrix common average people. You have autism, but you are a special person with maybe a special role in society. So you love to have routine, you love to have a rigid pattern in life, but you have also a career mission, and that career mission is maybe very important to serve humanity, to serve the world, to make something happen out of there. So you're probably with a reason. Your soul is born with a reason that you have autism. But first, if you are in the matrix and you're in the normal school systems, you walk against walls. Then it is really a lifelong complex disability. It's a handicap because you are different, your feelings are different, your hypervision is different than the rest, your hyper focus is different than the rest, your inner feelings, your very logical reasoning is often from a higher level. So all those kind of things is different than the rest, and you going into walls in the communication with your teachers, with your friends, with your parents, and in the school system. So you need a good career coach, you need a good life coach to bring you on the right path. So I go into the book material. First of all, the repetitive patterns, of behavior. That is also something spiritual. It's like you like to live in a mantra. You like to live in a quite rigid schedule because you perform better. You don't have to think about the mini schedules during the day. So you're here a very spiritual person because the monks lived always in a mantra. They woke up early morning, they're doing their hand work, then they prepare food, then they do meditation, then they do gym, then they wash themselves, then they sleep, and they have another day in the afternoon. They start fresh with another routine. So you like to have routine. I like to have routine myself too. I perform better because I don't have to think about the mini schedule and the difference in that. So that's a very good characteristic that you are love to have a kind of routine in your life, and maybe people make you ridiculous, but going on with this, because if you have a good schedule and it works out for you, you have more energy for your real purpose in life. That's all about. If you have energy losses because of the changing of your schedules all the time, I cannot be in an organization. I cannot work in an organization when you have one time you have to work until 3 o'clock, then you have to wake up at 4 o'clock and work the whole day. I cannot do that. I want to have a fixed schedule that's reliable, and I can be also have my rest there. So your rigid schedule gives you energy, and that energy, if you look at higher spiritual depth, that energy you needed to fulfill your life purpose here on earth. So all those rigid scheduling, why you're doing this, is because you need to save your energy for a better planet. You can be very useful in a kind of certain jobs. So that's the reason why you like that rigid lifestyle. You have probably an intense world syndrome. You pick up a lot of activities from your surrounding. You're probably high sensitive, and you need your rest to adapt all those kind of stimulances from your environment, the talks of people, the impressions you get from people. The traffic can be very disturbing, crowded places, you could freak out. And I call freak out because autistic people can freak out because it become too much for them. So too much impressions, too much stimulations can causes freaking out mechanisms. So they're high sensitive feeling and very very trustful feeling persons, but the risk of sensory overload. Remember this word, sensory overload. So autistic people need their own space, their own room, their own working room. They need to have peace of people, some introvert mechanisms here to load up. And if you're loading up, you can conquer the world again later on. So you're a feeling person, you have intuition, and next to that, you remember too much. And I highlighted this word in the book. You remember too much. You can remember the signs of the cars, even which you saw during your road trip. It's like a very a memory mind. So you adapt all the knowledge in your mind, and it costs energy. So you need peace to restore the information in your mind, and therefore also the risk of sensory overload and freaking mechanisms because it become too much for you. You're feeling an intuition person with a subconsciousness thinking pattern. And next to that, you're not only a very feeling person, or maybe I talk to the parents of autistic people also. Autistic, your son is maybe autistic. He or she can also be a very logical thinker. So one side of the brains are feeling, intuition, visual, and one side of the brains are very logical, and I highlighted here in this book, very logical, but also without the interference from emotions. So people with autistic characteristics can be very hard sometimes. They can say we have to cut this part of the company because this part is so bad for the company in total. And they can be very logical, and they can be very hard. And the next time they can be very feeling sensible. So sometimes you have the feeling that you deal with two persons. And that's what this author also wrote down in this book. You probably deal with a split brain personality. One side very logical, and one side very emotional, more feelings, more intuition. So that's also good to know about yourself, or maybe parents, what the behavioral patterns of autistic people are and in which side of the brain he or she is. Autistic people can see very detailed things. I remember I dated with a woman, very sportive woman. She was doing triathlon and a beautiful body. And we were walking on the canal in Amsterdam, and she could see from far an little dog. You have dog stores in Amsterdam, and she saw that there was something wrong in the dog in that store, and it was an inconsequence. I didn't saw it. It's also not my interest, but they can see really on a detail level what is wrong in a kind of puppet behind the window of a store, that there was inconsequences in the eyes or something. I didn't remember it so good, but it was fascinating what she was doing there. And if you're so detailed with HyperVision, that can be very useful in companies to see the inconsequences and to make your processes in the company more efficient. So they are difficult because they're seeing bad things in your company, but they can be actually very helpful to become better and better in the company efficiency. So they're very detail minded. So they have hypervision, but also autistic people can be as HyperHearing. They can listening very good to you, and they combine also there the inconsequences what you said earlier to them. So there can be very good detective people that you said something 5 years ago and now you said something different, and they can freak out. They remember things what you said 5 years ago to them, and now they come back to it that it was a wrong thing or there's an inconsequence what you're saying now. So what I remember from this book is really the hypervision and the hyper hearing combined with that split brain personality. So very, very interesting. Next topic. They can also become very, very focused on one thing. And they have a very good quality to work on one project and go on and go on and go on with it in a very structured way, and they can hyper focus on one issue and forget the rest. So if you put an autistic people on a job, don't give him so multi things, but really one task, and a very deep task and complex one and difficult one, and lock him or she up in a closed room without this sensory overload risk, right? So then this guy or woman will perform better. The environment can think that this guy or girl is very egocentric. So a lot of autistic people will be seen as cold and hard because of the logical thinking part. But they are actually not very egocentric. They're following the invisible hand. They are here with a reason here, and they use their intense focus on that part, and they forget the rest. They want to be a part of the company, part of the organization. They're doing their best, but they can only do their thing with an intense focus where they forget all the rest. So they can be seen from the outside world as an egocentric person, but on a deeper level, they want to support the rest, support the company, and make everyone fine. They can be very honest to you. There are nearly no filters there. They have their heart on their tongue. They say what is coming up to them. They have less social calibration. So if there's something going on, they say it immediately. Or they say maybe your dress, there's some inconsequence in your dress. Or you didn't make up yourself, and they say it because last day you did your makeup, per example, right? So they can be very hard, but that is not their purpose. They want to help you and support you and understand your way of life. Autistic people are also non-liars. They are very and very, very honest. They are non-liars. and they are not hiding things for you. So they're very trustful and also long term good investment employees because they like the schedule and the long term aspects and the rigid lifestyle. So changing from and company could be very tired for them, could be very energy losing them because they can be attached to buildings, to people, to animals. They're very sensitive, and if they coming in a company and they will be accepted, they will go 1000% for the employer to make the job as best as they can. So they're very sensitive, but if they're working in a company, they can be very useful because they are non-liars, they're not hiding things from you, and they can be very honest to you about the inconsequences in the processing. They're very loyal. That's also their long-term employees, but also they're very loyal to the people in their surroundings. They're because they don't like change, so they want to stay in the same routine because that gives them a lot of trust, and they give them a lot of a good feeling because they are attached to the building of the company or the route to their office or the animals maybe in the office building, the fishes or the cars who are there or the people. So they really have a kind of inner feeling and connectedness with the surroundings and heavily connected feeling with the people and the stuff in their surroundings. So it could be that an autistic person makes millions and millions in euros later, but still living in the same low income building or house because they're so attached and they don't want to move because it costs so much energy. The last thing about autistic people is that they have a sense of fairness and a sense of justice. So if there's gonna something wrong or someone is riding with his car too hard or there happens something bad, stealing, they will say it immediately. They can freak out and they're very honest. So they're very reliable employers and partners in love life. You can really trust them, but they have a very sense of fairness and justice. So without social calibration, they can bring some rumors and disturbance in the organization, but overall, they're very good employees. So that's the little bit the core about autism and spirituality, and I think the hyper feeling is hypersensitivity is really something spiritual, and also the mantra life is spiritual, and you reach higher awareness skills because of this routine where you're not tired and where you get energy from. I think that is the most important connection here with spirituality. Thank you for watching this book report, and I see you by the next one. Bye bye.